Before I get started with this video, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I have not seen Aang vs. Edward yet. I'm currently on vacation right now, which means I can't film reaction videos, and that means that I'm going to have to wait until I get back home before I can see that video in its entirety and then react to it. So even though I know what death battle comes next, I haven't seen Aang vs. Edward yet. So if I could just politely ask you guys to please refrain from talking about it in the comments, just like leave spoilers and even just general discussion about it out of it, because I don't want to be spoiled in any way, shape, or form with that fight. I want to see it, and going completely blind and see what it has to offer. So yeah, if we can just talk about this death battle in the comments, that'd be much appreciated. So thank you guys in advance. Alright, on with the video. Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is The Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my Death Battle prediction videos. So yes, the Death Battle that's coming after Aang vs. Edward is another Marvel vs. DC fight. It's Ghost Rider from Marvel versus Lobo from DC. So again, this is another fight where it's very clear that this is going to be a season of oddball matchups, as I'm sure Death Battle has already confirmed. I believe they have confirmed that, yeah. And, this isn't one that's too much of an oddball. Like, I know there are going to be some people who are really hyped for this, and I think some people have suggested it in the past before anyway. And, this one doesn't bother me as much as some of the other fights, like, Captain Marvel versus Shazam. So, I'm still pretty hyped for it too. I quite like both the characters. From what I know about them, they're both really cool. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. And this fight is going to be pretty interesting to say the least, because one of the similarities that these two characters share, aside from, having awesome motorcycles, is that they're both basically immortal. And when I say basically immortal, I believe it's because they're not fully immortal. Like, when it comes to Ghost Rider can really only be physically hurt or killed by holy weapons, to my knowledge, and when it comes to Lobo, he's been banished from both heaven and hell, so you can't really kill him in the conventional sense. So, yeah, and when it comes to Ghost Rider, he, when it comes to, like, mental attacks, if you're like a really strong telepath, you might be able to kill Ghost Rider. He might have some resistance to it, but it wouldn't be like a complete immunity to it. Like, when it comes to the physical stuff, yeah, Ghost Rider, it's only holy weapons that can hurt him or kill him. But when it comes to the mental stuff or like the soul attacking stuff, that stuff he might be a little more vulnerable to, and you might be able to kill him through that way as well. So yeah, both of these characters are basically immortal, but not fully. And when it comes to Lobo, I do believe there are ways to kill him, if you're just able to, like, completely erase him from existence, because, then you wouldn't really be, like, sending him to heaven or hell, you'd just be, like, undoing him. So I do believe that there are ways to kill both of these characters, but regardless, it's going to be really hard for either of these characters to be able to do any lasting damage against each other. And, like, I am going to go over, their stats and, how they compare to each other, to at least some degree, but regardless, it's not really going to matter too much, because, all it really comes down to is, can either character kill the other? But I'll get into that a little bit later. So when it comes to their strength, this one especially is really hard to pinpoint, because both of them are really inconsistent. Like, when it comes to Ghost Rider, he can lift about, like, 100 tons on a bad day, and when it comes to a good day, like, his strength is basically, like, incalculable. Like, it's really hard to pinpoint how strong this guy is. Like, when it comes to Ghost Rider, he's one of those characters where you can really tell that his maximum strength and, like, his maximum in terms of his stats hasn't really been shown on panel yet. Like, he's done ridiculous things. Like, I think he once, like, I'm not sure if he beat Galactus or if he just took on Galactus. I believe he's beaten both Hulk and Doctor Strange before, though, and you need much more than, 100 tons of lifting power to be able to do that. So, his strength can rise, I don't want to say infinitely, but it's really hard to pinpoint how strong this guy is, because he's ridiculously strong, and we probably haven't even seen his full strength level, on panel before. He's one of those characters where the writers can just make him as strong as however they want him to. You guys know what I mean, right? So it's really hard when it comes to Ghost Rider's strength. And when it comes to Lobo's strength, his strength more so varies from writer to writer. Like, there are some writers that make him, like, as strong as Superman, and then there are some writers who make him significantly weaker than that. I'm sure when it comes to Death Battle, they're going to be going with, the as strong as Superman version, because they like to use characters at their best. So again, when it comes to strength, it's really difficult to tell who's going to have the advantage. Both of these characters are able to take on characters and match strength of characters who can break planets, so regardless, they're going to be pretty strong against each other. They're going to be pretty evenly matched, I'd say. You know, there might be some differences, you know, if you go really into the research, but regardless, both of these characters are ridiculously strong, and it's a little hard to tell what their maximum strengths are, but they are ridiculously strong. And when it comes to their speed, you know, they've been able to match reaction speeds of ridiculously fast characters before as well, and, you know, obviously they're both ridiculously fast on their motorcycles, so again, I'd say they're probably about the same in terms of speed too. And when it comes to durability, this one's a little tough because when it comes to Ghost Rider, again, you know, really the only way that you can physically hurt him is through a holy weapon or through some sort of like strong mental attack, as I've said before. But even then, he has a regenerative healing factor. So, you know, it really takes a lot of punishment from a holy weapon if you want to beat him down physically. And when it comes to Lobo, I believe if you put enough force into it, you could, like, physically hurt Lobo. You know, it's going to be really tough to do, obviously, because his durability is insane, but I believe he's not, like, impervious to all regular attacks like Ghost Rider is. He does, though, have a regenerative healing factor like Ghost Rider, so, you know, that kind of takes care of that, and you definitely need a lot of power in order to do any damage to him, and, again, they're both immortal, so that really, when it comes back to that, it's thinking, like, does that even really matter? Like, I could go back and forth in terms of their stats all day. Like, I could say, you know, Lobo is probably smarter as he technically has genius level intellect and probably has more, like, weapons and, like, tracking knowledge than Ghost Rider has. He probably has more of it, although I might be wrong about that. I know Ghost Rider is still pretty intelligent when it comes to the supernatural stuff. And, you know, when it comes to versatility, I want to say Ghost Rider has the advantage because it seems like he has a wider arsenal of powers and weapons. Like, he's got his chain, but he's also carried shotguns and knives before, and he's got, like, size alteration and sin manipulation, soul manipulation, hellfire manipulation, dimensional travel, and I know that, you know, Lobo has some of his own weapons, and he's got some extra abilities, I believe, but I don't believe it's to the same extent as Ghost Rider. He's mainly just, like, a really strong and durable hunter, you know. He's got some other abilities, but not to the same extent as, you know, Ghost Rider, who's, like, full-on supernatural. And when it comes to their fighting ability, both of them seem to be about even. Like, they're both fairly competent, but not the best when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. So again, like, I could do this all day. I could keep going with it. But really the biggest thing that we need to figure out is how is one of these characters going to be able to kill the other? And really, can both of these characters kill the other? And again, you know, you guys can prove me wrong if I'm wrong about this. And, you know, Death Valve's going to do way more research than me, so you can let me know down in the comments below if I get something wrong. But here's what I have to say about this. Because Lobo doesn't carry any holy weapons, to my knowledge, and because he doesn't have any strong mental attacks, or any mental attacks at all, to my knowledge, I could be getting something completely wrong, but because of all of that, I really don't see any way that Lobo is going to be able to kill Ghost Rider. Again, Ghost Rider is basically completely impervious to all regular attacks, and he's been able to take hits from ridiculously strong, physically strong characters like Hulk before, and he's been able to match that strength too. So even though, you know, when Lobo punches Ghost Rider, it might send him flying, it's not going to be able to do any significant damage, if any damage to him at all. And it's definitely not going to be able to kill him, as he doesn't have anything holy. So I really don't see any way that Lobo is actually going to be able to physically or mentally put down Ghost Rider. And with Ghost Rider, again, it's really hard to say for certain if he'd be able to do anything to Lobo, because again, Lobo's been banished from both heaven and hell. But Ghost Rider has his hellfire manipulation, which is like he can generate it, he can summon it, like from the sky or just from the ground. He can also, like, I believe, infuse it in his weapons and do other things with it. He's also got his penance stare, which turns, like, it makes them feel every little bit of pain that they've inflicted on other people. So, you know, with Lobo, that's going to be a lot of pain. That actually could be one of the few things that could actually physically hurt him, like, from the inside. But the point is, when it comes to hellfire manipulation and hellfire, it burns the soul of the victim. Like, it doesn't really kill you, I believe, like, from the general definition. Like, it doesn't, like, send you to heaven or hell. Again, this is my understanding. I could be getting this wrong, but from my understanding, the soul manipulation and the soul destruction doesn't really send you to heaven or hell. It's more like you're just erased, like you're undone, you're unmade. You know, it's almost as if you were never there in the first place. Like, your life is just gone. You just cease to exist. I'm just saying the same thing over and over. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to hellfire manipulation, it's not just beating someone down until you're dead, you know, when you get sent to heaven or hell. It's that, you know, you're just completely incinerated. You're gone. Your soul is just no more. And for me, from my understanding, that does not mean you get sent to heaven or hell. That just means you're completely gone. Like, it's not completely comparable to say if Thanos snapped you away and then, you cease to exist. But in another sense, when it comes to your soul being unmade, in that sense, you do kind of cease to exist. And I feel like, if anything, that's going to be the only way that either one of these characters is going to be able to kill the other. I don't see any way that Lobo could kill Ghost Rider because, again, no holy weapons and no mental attacks. And Ghost Rider is the only one that could actually do any physical damage from the inside. And from my understanding, he could put Lobo down, not necessarily by killing him from the general definition, but by, just unmaking and destroying his soul, so that he doesn't go to heaven or hell, he just ceases to exist. And I believe that is a way that Ghost Rider could kill Lobo. So from my understanding, since both of these characters are ridiculously powerful, and they've both pulled off some amazing feats in the past, I don't want to say they're completely even, you could argue about who's better in terms of strength and speed, but because both of them are pretty even when it comes to each other, or at least they're comparable, they can keep up with each other, and because Ghost Rider seems, from my knowledge, to have the only way of actually killing either of the characters. Ghost Rider is the only way of killing either of them. I just feel that Ghost Rider is going to have to win, and that is the primary reason. This is a death battle, and we've had characters in the past, where Ganon can't die, so he wins. We've had that before. And I don't think it's going to be something, they're just going to say, oh, unfortunately, Lobo didn't have any holy weapons. I feel like they will give more reasoning than just that. But I do believe that is the primary reason why Ghost Rider would win this fight. Again, I can't think of any way that Lobo's going to win, and I just think that Ghost Rider being able to burn your soul is a way of cheating that heaven versus hell rule. I really do. So I'm going with Ghost Rider, but what do you guys think? Am I getting anything wrong? Do you think Lobo's going to win? Do you also think Ghost Rider's going to win? Let me know down in the comments below, because I'd really like to know, and I really want to get this one right, because the last Death Battle prediction I got wrong, and now I have more incorrects than corrects, and I need this one to tie it up, so hopefully I get this one right. And if you enjoyed this prediction, please give this video a huge like. I always appreciate the likes. You can leave a comment down below, again, everything that I said before, who you think's going to win, what you think the battle's going to be like. And again, please don't leave anything about Aang versus Edward, because I haven't seen it yet. And if you guys could subscribe to my channel, that'd be so great. That would really help my channel out. I would really appreciate it. But regardless, thank you all so much for watching this prediction. I'm really excited for the fight. I hope you guys are excited for it too. And yep, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.